Ready? Where's the lumen? Where do you think the lumen is? Where do you think?
Yes. We had 6 of them.
Is it 6? So remember, 12, 3, 6, 9.
No.
What have you got to do? Pause what you're doing. Just take the scope back just a fraction. Okay. Look at the image. See this field. Okay. And neutralise that wheel. I knew what it was doing just by looking, because I knew that wheel was back. So how are you going to increase your clockwise torque? So remember what we said right at the beginning. You know you want to put clockwise torque on the scope. Start with your thumb, bring the scope to the hand and bring the thumb around. Bring this up to here. How does that feel now? How does that feel?
Yes.
Easier?
Yes, easier.
Okay. So always start with the thumb, bring it round. It's easier to take it off than put it on if you haven't got enough. Straight. So what have you got to do to make it happen? What have you got to do to make it? You're very quiet. You've took your torque off. Okay, stop. Then I'll just show you. Just stand there for a second. Give me this. Stand there. Look up. Right. What you're doing is you're very transfixed. You're gripping the scope. Okay. Fingers. Hold the scope. Bring the scope up. Right. Big wheel way too far back. There's actually jade in the rectum. Now we've unjade. Okay. Look at the scope itself. You want to go clockwise. Can you see how much torque there is in the scope? Reduce it, come anti-clockwise. Now you can see you're in the same place, in the same plane. Then you come round to the peritoneal reflection. Watch the scope. See the scope here? In a straight line. As you bring the scope up, underneath that hold, then back down, and underneath, you're now going round the rectosigmoid. So back into the rectum. Use the scope.
सिर्फ अपनी फिंगर्स यूज कीजिए, ठीक है? पूरे हाथ से ग्रिप मत कीजिएगा, इससे स्टिफ हो जाएगा.
Too much. Too much.
और जब आप मूवमेंट्स करते हैं ना, तो जो ये आपका हैंड है, उसको ऊपर नीचे करेंगे, तो वो आपका यूज करेगा उसके लिए, टॉप के लिए, जैसे टॉप यूज होगा.
Slow down. Stop. Did I use the little wheel? You've reached around to flick the little wheel. Torque steering is this. That's right, off to the left, off to the right. Okay? Keep it neutral.
Instead of using ये छोटा wheel, आप टॉप में इससे टॉप करेंगे.
That's better. Better. So where's the lumen? How do you know? How do you know?
आपको कैसे पता चला कि कहाँ पे 12 o'clock पे?
How do you know that? 12 o'clock.
He says, okay.
Moving the scope.
Just because it's going.
Right side.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of things. I can go forward by pushing this man out of the way. But it'd be easier if I went past him. Okay? That doesn't mean it's going forward and pushing him out of the way is the right thing to do. That doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. Yesterday, Samira and myself, we were talking, okay? And how do we know which is the direction for the lumen on an endoscope? If it's somewhere, and I'm looking, that image on that screen tells me an awful lot. What does it tell me? It tells me which way the lumen is without doing anything.
Yeah.
See where it's shiny down here?
Yeah.
That tells me I'm close to the lumen. So the light reflects back like you're very close to a mirror. See how the light is lost here? Light on an endoscope is lost into the lumen. So what we need to do is steer the scope slowly to the dark side. This is what we were talking about yesterday. So when we're actually looking at how to endoscope, which way it's safe to go, we always look to go to the dark side. Okay?
Yeah.
So slowly.
The feeling is resistant here.
So what have you got to do? What have you got to do to lift the scope up?
Big wheel with the
Okay, so what have you done again? And you've just reached to the little wheel again. What have you done with the scope? If you look, and you go forward, you've jade the scope again. Why have you jade the scope? Retroflex.
He has done actually the retroflexion.
What it is that a lot of people, when they're colonoscoping, right, they go on, off. Nothing like that. Stand there just for 1 second, I'll show you. We'll check this out. Right, so we come back, watch, we neutralise that little wheel, watch this wheel, watch it. Anti-clockwise, watch this wheel. How much movement? How much movement? So back. How much movement? How much? How much movement with this big wheel? See how little?
Yes.
How much were you doing? Lots. Slow, and the other thing is, what gets you confused is you do this, and that's what you were doing. I know I want to make it, so I'm going to make it go. So you suddenly go, that's the lumen, but I'm going to look here. It's no good. You need to steer the scope in. Okay? I'll fold it back. Off you go again. Slow the movements down. Slow it down. Okay? Excellent.
Withdraw करें, withdraw. Look at the lumen.
So where's the lumen? See how it's shiny to the right?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm coming
See how
back
it's
to
dark?
the lumen.
Up, up.
That's good. So you
Up
can
and
see
right.
that fold. So what have you got to do to rotate the scope to start with? That's it. So tall. That's better. Much better. Excellent. So what are you going to do to lift your nose? That's better. Now remember what we did before when I got your arm in the way when we were going forward with the scope? That's much better. Excellent. Now what are you going to do now? Because this is the point where you get to the rectum sigmoid. As you allow this to return in, allow it to return, put your big wheel forward just a touch to neutral, and draw back. The scope will actually want to take itself forward. Now you can go back in. Because as it comes round, the scope, as it comes round to the rectal sigmoid, it will go forward, and as you draw it back, it will straighten and pull across. And as it comes around, it'll straighten and give you now looks for the lumen, which is pushing the big wheel forward. See? Look for your lumen, down there. Keep going. So big wheel forward. Yeah. See? Go back and then go forward. See it? And that will take it forward on human beings. It will actually do. As you come right, the retrosigmoid goes anterior and this. So you get this shape with the arm. It comes up and around. If I do this and go back, it wants to go forward. But it can't go forward if it's pushing against the lumen. Yeah? Slow it down. Don't fish with the wheels. If you've, again, we've got this. Shiny, dark. Shiny, dark. Draw the scope back, ever so slow. Shiny, big wheel forward. Big wheel back. See the fold? That big wheel back. There you go. Keep it on, keep it on. See it? Now what are you going to do? You've got that torque, and that will helps take the pressure off.
Yes.
Excellent. As soon as I brought that hand down, it went round that corner. Keep that. See it? Now, pause. What have we been getting everybody to do at this point? Keep your torque on. So to keep your torque on, it's here. What should you do? Relax your hand. Regrip the scope. Draw it back a centimetre. Keep your eye on the screen, never on the scope. Draw it back a centimetre. Now. See? Now go forward. Excellent. How does that feel? He's like a man on his first date. He's in awe. Pinch me. I'm in love. So, freeze where you are. Okay, freeze where you are. Okay, keep this here, keep that there. What are we going? You want to put clockwise torque on. What do we do at this point? This is a man. What are we going to do? What are we going to consider? Put him on.
With a bit pull and then supine the
Okay,
patient.
so he's pulled back already, so we could do it. What does putting the patient on the back do? What does putting the patient on the back do?
Like it makes the scope in like this, not instead of like this.
So therefore it changes the
Direction of the.
So the-
Angulation.
angulation. What angulation? Okay.
Like going like that is much more difficult than going like
This is
this.
the bow.
Yeah.
That's pointing to the lumen.
Could change the
As
position.
Samira then comes onto her back, what have I done? Scope. Okay.
The scope has gone
So all I'm saying
against
here
the
is-
wall.
I'm just saying that this is pointing at this point of the back. This is pointing there. As we put the person onto the back, what have we automatically done with the scope? No, we've already got the scope in. This is just telling you what it's pointing.
Against the wall now.
No, not again. What I'm trying to get you to see is, this is the lumen. We can go forward. This is the. That's not what I'm trying to point out. What I'm trying to point out is, I'm pointing at this point on the wall. As we bring the patient on the back, what have we done? I'm still pointing at a point on the bow wall, but what point on the wall am I pointing it at?
Inferior wall.
Regardless if it's inferior or not, I've gone from pointing at 3 o'clock, this is 6 o'clock, I'm now pointing the scope by putting them on the back at 6 o'clock. So what we do when we're actually rotating the patient onto the back, we're introducing 90 degrees of clockwise torque. That's what I'm trying to get you to think of. Okay, so we're changing the position. So when we rotate the patient, now we do that. But Paul,
That only applies.
yes, that only applies.
When we are in descending column, but not the transverse column.
Oh, I love this man. Where you?
Yes, this question since morning.
Where are we? Now, okay. If we wanted to go clockwise, onto this side. When we put him back, we go 90 degrees anti-clockwise. In rotating the patient, whichever direction we're rotating, we will come
And wherever we are.
wherever we are.
Okay.
Think of it. Regardless where the scope is, regardless, make a lovely pirouette, my friend, like so. This is pointing forward, regardless wherever the scope is. This is the cecum,
Yeah.
right? This thumb is the most important bit. So that is the aleocecal of my fingers. As he now rotates his arm, brings his elbow down, bring your elbow down, bring it down further, bring it down further, but then he adjusts the wheels, bring it down further. He's turned the thumb 90 degrees. However, what's the difference in me saying, patient, come onto your back, patient, come onto your tummy? What's the difference?
patient position and easier.
So when you change the patient position, you're also changing the orientation. Okay? And sometimes when you end up with a strange configuration out here, think about it. I have got now this torque in. If I'm struggling, I can transfer it to the umbilical, but that is also got 3 in because we can sometimes end up with 2, sometimes 3.
Struggling, so we can continue by this.
Yeah, he's not struggling, but I'm just talking about orientation, what change in the position does. It doesn't just change anatomically, it changes what torque you're actually putting on the scope. Okay, my friend. We put them back onto the back. Do you want them on the back? Are you happy as they are? I'll say yes. You sound like my wife. No, Paul, yes. No, Paul, I'm going to sleep. Yes, I'll have the ring.
I'm not feeling the rest. This is very best. I'm going sorry. She's listening to you.
She kills me. Okay. Right, now, this is the more important still. What did you do then? You reduced the scope, that's fine. But what else did you do?
Second, I can change the position of the patient.
Okay, you're making great progress. You just put that there for a second. Okay, now advance your scope just a little bit. So you'll see, keep the lumen central.
Yes, sir.
All right, keep it going. Now hand is going down. Just keep the hand central. Clockwise torque, draw that. But what we need is a little bit of anti-clockwise torque. You've got to keep it on, so you've got to increase that. As it goes forward, that increases there. And clockwise, see it? Takes it forward, draw back, pulls it down. But what you did, and what you've just done again, what have you just done again? What does he keep doing that is hindering his progress? I've been doing it years, so I pick it up straight away. What do you think? You're coming around here, that's not a problem. That's brilliant. Okay. Patient breathes in, so you could say breathe in. So as they breathe in, that shoots the scope round. What are you doing? What do you keep doing that hinders your progress? You'll understand it better when I take the scope out.
I'm not understanding.
Okay. You're here now. You're fine. Advance. Big wheel back. Big wheel back. That's brilliant. So that's exactly where you need to be. Now if you take the scope out, I will show you what I'm trying to talk to you about. So you got all the way around. How did that feel? Easy? A little bit difficult? Okay. What I want you to do is bring your thumb around to here. So your thumb is at tip. Okay. Now I want you to put an anti-clockwise torque on the scope.
Inside.
Anti-clockwise. Okay. Now I want you to take the scope back. Okay. What did you keep doing when you were? What he kept doing was this. You draw back and then forward. That keeps the torque on. But what he kept doing, which you didn't see, was as he drew back the scope with the right torque, he then did this. He let go of the scope and drew back. And what does that do? It lets go of all the tension that's in the scope, so he reforms. If you keep that torque on and draw back, then go forward, it then puts it on. What you mustn't do when you're reducing a loop is come back, let go, come back, it reforms. You've got to keep the torque on. So you come back and then you let go to regrip. What you do, how you reduce a loop is this.
During reduction, you have to keep the stroke.
Hold that. Hold the scope. Just hold it there. So we've got this. How you reduce a loop. As I draw the scope back, I come back with the scope, I can feel this feeling tight. We haven't got scope guide, we haven't got fluoro. I now put this on, oh it feels tight.
Tension increases.
I now put anti-clockwise, oh that feels okay. I put more anti-clockwise, that's okay. But what he does then is they let go, and then he come back with the scope, and then it reforms. Because he re-grips it with the torque off. What you need to do is come back with the scope, off, keep it on, keep it on, keep it on, and then you can go, see it's trying to stay straight? Keep the torque
Not
on.
to lose it completely.
Don't lose it completely.
Yeah.
The next thing when you're reducing the loop, when we come back to here, there are two things it does. What happens when you reduce a loop?
Two things are happening. Usually at the outside the hepatic layer, when we are reducing the scope, then we are feeling pain. Then again we feeling difficulty.
Do you know why you get pain? Do you know why? You are looping, but do you know why you get pain when you reduce a loop sometimes? Or that's why you get pain when you're going in. But why do you get pain when you're reducing?
Because we do not reduce the loop.
Watch, just turn slightly, because what happens when you reduce a loop? Oh, that's tight, that's the wrong way to go. Oh, that's the right way to go. But look what the apex of the... Now look at how much space it's occupying in. So, what you don't do, which is what a lot of you do, your bosses will say, put some clockwise torque on and reduce, put some anti-clockwise torque on and reduce. So you go, yes sir, bang, bang. Yeah? What you're supposed to do, what I'm asking you to do, is come back, slowly apply the torque, continue to come, oh it's got tighter, slowly apply, oh it's got tighter, oh clockwise me it feels a little bit too tight, oh that seems okay. How much space am I taking up in the abdomen?
Make a loop smaller.
Smaller. Then you come back. Then forward. The other thing, that is a small loop. Can you just hold that there in front of your hand? Put your hand there. That is a small loop, yeah? Look where I am in comparison. So I'm on this line. Right? And now we're reducing, and now reducing, now reducing, and reducing. How far have I stood away? So how much scope have I had to take out? So what I'm trying to get you to realise is when reducing a loop, you have to take, there's a lot of scope to come out.
And there's also another point that while reducing, for example, the torque is easy to reduce like this. If we, for example, incidentally relieve all the tension, we have to torque it again the same way that it used to be.
Right.
Before pushing in.
It doesn't matter what loop you've got.
Yeah.
Now, I go anti, ooh.
Yeah.
So start with your thumb round at 6 o'clock, bring the scope back,
Release it completely.
then bring it back, bring the scope up, supports the scope, bring it back, go forward. But have you noticed I keep the thumb when I feel that I've reduced the loop in the same direction. Yeah?
But we don't freeze our hand till the end.
So I come back with whatever is required. So I come round. If you have to re-grip the scope, right? So I come back, as I come back, and I come round, I have to re-grip the scope because I didn't start. Normally I know I want to do anti-clockwise torque. So I would get my hand and I would come here. I then do this, I then bring it round, I then come back, and then I come here. Whatever torque I'm going to do, if I'm going to reduce clockwise torque, I will start with my thumb at 6 o'clock, I will come back, I will come round, and I will come back. If I have to do anti-clockwise torque, and that's what I want to apply, I will come round, I will start, I will come back, I will come back. So I've got it all the time. So wherever it is, don't forget what we all do. We start with our thumb naturally. That's comfortable for me. I now come back, I now come here, and now I'm here, and now I'm here, and now I'm here. Yeah? And then you say, please hold the scope. You hold the scope, and then you reform. Yeah? So start, exaggerate, because you will bring it back to the comfortable position. Yeah? Happy? Is he happy? He's happy. Now, I always say to people, it sounds rude, but if it was your bottom, how much gel would you want it? As much as possible. Absolutely.
This is the point where we should understand what's going on.
You happy? Now, what I do in my department with somebody like my friend here, I now get something and I'll put this here. If you knock that over, it means that your hands come too far forward. You see? So that then keeps you in the straight line. Do you remember when I was talking earlier today? Going in the straight line. I only need it there for a few minutes and then it just brings people back into the same plane. If you look, you can see what you're trying to do. That's better. Excellent. You're allowing the toe. So what shape have we got? It's the shape of a boat. So what do we want to do? Boats go over water, so we go over that. We see here, we've got a shape of a arch, we've got a bridge, so we go under. Now you're being crafty, you're going straight down the centre and you're looking at it from the side. Excellent. Often we will come to a bend and we will say, where's the scope got to go? I don't know where it's got to go. If you were driving along on a road, and you come to a major American intersection, right, which has got 6 roads going off, right, what do you expect to see? You've got this one road and there's 6 roads going off. What do you expect to see to help you? Signboards. And often what the signboards do, and the signboards point down which road to go. So just think of what this does. You've got your folds. See there? There's a ridge of a fold. You follow the ridge. What is in the colon to tell you this is the centre of the road? The tinea. So often if you look at the tinea as you go along, you know which way to go. So the tinea will point. So as you come to a bend and you see this, you know that it's saying, go this one.
Over here we are not in.
No. So it's caught under a fold.
Yeah.
And so,
How are you going to deal with the plastic colon?
plastic colon.
Yeah.
The plastic colon tells you an awful lot how the folds are. You see here when you come back, it's a bit like a child's colon when you come in. It's only till you get out of the sigmoid into the descending, it looks pretty featureless and round and circular. So when you come to this point, you can see where the folds are. And it's actually, the direction is that you lift it over the fold, you turn it to the next. You can see what it wants to dive in. So you can see here where the fold is coming from this side. Dark, dark, you know to go to the centre. So we're dark there, we're dark over there. You're very quiet, my friend. Very studious. So where's the movement? You've done what you did, which is very quick with the wheels. Slow the movement down with the wheels. Excellent. So you can see this, it's coming here. see there? That takes you off. There you go. And there you can see the TNI run down there. So we lift it round and we turn it back in. We turn it round, we turn it back in. We'll get you to go around. There, amazing, you didn't do anything. So what happens when you scope is the scope will do what you want it to do. Relax the scope, bring your arm up here. Happy? Yes. So what are we going to do? Are we just going to keep pushing it in?
No.
Oh. Spend 2 days saying pull. Excellent. Advanced nice and steady. Just pause where you are. Happy? Move that now. Freeze. Yeah, you got this? That's better. So what's going to make you feel more comfortable?
Yes. Change the position or?
That's brilliant. So think about, now, how about that? How's that feel now? Less tense? You left the hand. Yes. Yeah. A lot of the time, what happens is that we feel nervous. So if you actually have this, just relax the scope, let go. Because you're not going to lose anything from it. Just let go. So we've got here. Now, if we step out and drop down, we pull up, we lean in, it takes it off, we lean back, it puts it on. So standing too close, it takes out the torsion force in the scope. And what happens is, as guys who are learning, you're like this, and then you, so all the force is gone. And you need to do is stand back, be proud, your mother is. That's what I always tell people. Excellent. You're very serious, my friend. That's good. So, let's just try this. Hold on to your scope, nice and steady. Patient comes over, have a look. Happy? Yes. I will make it hard. Except for when you guys have a go, we'll leave it on this setting, but for tomorrow morning I come in and then I'll set it up very hard. So freeze where you are, you're lifting your hand up and then you're coming in this direction. Two things why I like it to go in straight. If you actually look at the anal canal, if you lift it up, you push in, it causes more pressure. If you go in straight, it's less pressure. Turning that way. The reason why I get particular about posture is that you've got a long way to go. What are you, mid-30s? Early 30s? He doesn't want to tell us his age, does he? You know. What do you think? 36, 37. It's written on your head, you see. Americans always have it written on their head. So, what it is that if you think about it, in the UK you've got 30 years left, right? You've probably got similar 30 years, 32 years now, okay? 33, 30 years now. You've got to think about it. If you adopt a bad body posture now, you're going to end up with bad neck, bad and all the same. You've got to be able to look and be able to scope. Scope this way, then you're just reducing. So if it means manoeuvring the bed, get the bed right height, all this, you've got a long time to go. A lot of pressure to work through, a lot of wear and tear. Okay. Freeze. You're never going to get it through a blind end. Okay. Happy?
Yes.
So, Anything to recap? Anybody want to go anything over anything before I run round and see what Saad's up to? And is there anything you want to go over? Luke's we've only briefly touched on. The thing that you need to know most importantly is when you're doing biopsies and you're putting stuff down the scope, they also stiffen up the scope, and I will show you that when I get up to the forceps. So they don't stiffen them up straight away, it's when they open and close. And I will get a pair and I will show you. The most important things about scopes themselves, if in doubt, stop. What we're going to say on the course is pause and stop, use that terminology. We want you to feel comfortable and we'll ask you what you think you should do next. It's not putting you on the spot and trying to make you feel silly on it. And if you're going to be scoping patients, you need to know what to do. Now if you haven't got the courage to say, I need to do this, even if it's not necessarily the right thing to do, the discussion then happens to actually get you to understand what your options are. Eventually you'll see the right thing. We're not here to dictate to you. What we are here is to enable you to work out for yourself with us. We do teach things slightly differently. We do a lot of things slightly differently. But the most important thing about colonoscopy, or anything to do with this, is that I look at colonoscopy as coaching. Coaching. What's the difference between a coach and a trainer?
Trainer makes you physically fit and the coach actually improve your technique.
That's a nice one, but there is something else very basic. I like to keep things simple, but that's what a coach does. What's the difference between a coach and a trainer?
Trainer tells you what to do, a coach only indicates where to go, the options, what you have. Thank you.
Smart. So, a trainer will tell you what to do. Doesn't give a hoot what your previous experience is, because my way is the only way. Okay? What a coach does, and this course is about coaching, we recognise that you've got some skills. What we need to do is help you see what those skills are and how you can improve on those skills. So don't feel what you're doing is wrong. What you can do is improve. And that's where you've made the step to come here and say, I want to improve. So we recognise that by making a coaching course. It's called a training course. That's just because it fits within the UK and everywhere. But when you come to this type of course, it's about coaching. So coaching, you recognise you as individuals already. So it's just looking at things. You're already doing things and you don't know you're doing them. Most important when you're actually scoping, I like to keep the scoping this way. Think of a snowshoe. A snowshoe takes a big spacer so it can push down. If I'm trying to do it anti-clockwise with no help from this whatsoever, I find it hard. So hold your hand out so you can do it clockwise. If you allow the scope to come up and sit here, it's like an ice skate on the snow. You can easily rotate the scope. So I rather have an ice skate than a snowshoe. You can put loops in the umbilical. I wouldn't advise more than 2 because it shortens the scope. When you pick the scope up or given the scope, always make sure that this is straight. Very important because of your movement of the scope. You have to transfer a loop, right? So a clockwise torque, hold the scope and put it into the scope. If it sits here, it will interfere. Allow it to come down and put it in. Just steer it down. Don't pull it because you'll damage the scope. But as you can see, it restricts any movement on the scope. So you can take that out if you want. You can even put another one. Again, and you can, and another one. You can put up to 3 loops in a scope. Whatever's outside, if you watch the scope, represents what's inside. exactly why. The thing about the scope is, hold the scope, my friend. Hold the scope, just in your hand, like so. Just hold it. Yeah, let go of that. Alright. Whatever I choose to do with the scope, I can, if you keep it straight, you can't resist. Okay, you won't be able to resist if I keep it like so. So again, if I want to be able to do this, I hold the scope, I try to put it on, that's stiff. If I step back and increase it, it can't resist. That's not me doing it, that's the scope. And then if I want to put that torque on, you can feel that I want to put it on, but as closer I get, the less it becomes. And we all are guilty of
The
being
same principle applies in gastroscopy.
Yes. Gastroscopy is a piece of cake. But I actually think that gastroscopy, people treat it as the very poor cousin, and they don't give it the respect that it deserves. If gastroscopy is done right, and you do the correct foundation, people can easily do gastroscopy without sedation. You've heard what Steve said today, that over 60% in our unit in the UK is done without sedation. Well, I'm 78%, I do without sedation. So 78% colonoscopy without sedation, without pain relief. So that's it. Gastroscopy, I'm 90% without sedation, 90% without anything at all. A little bit of throat pain.
Even without local?
90%,
Without
because there is I believe there is a technique.
But you do use the spray.
Only in about
spray.
20-30%. That's only if they want it. So we'll get back to this. I can't go any further. However, if I start with the scope around here, you can't stop it. Come back, I hold the scope, I can even go further.
Sir, one last point I just want to clear. So we will start like holding this. We will start it whether the scope should be like this when
Nope.
we start, or it should be like this.
Just be like that, comfortable.
Okay.
Because what I tend to do when I go in, I do this, I do this,
Yeah.
I allow it to go forward, then back.
At what point we change the opportunity position?
A lot of I don't change it unless I have to. At the present moment in time, the mannequin is set up so you have to change position. That's all it is. But I don't change it unless I have to.
Don't change it unless it's necessary.
Yeah. Unless it's a necessity.
Yeah.
Keep doing it, keep going. Well, yeah, you can. I need to just pop and see what side's up to. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. What happens is that they will grab one of you guys to go around. So one of you will be with me next. I don't know which room I'm in, but I won't see which one is happening. I'll be back in 2 minutes. But feel free. What you need to do is at this point you will start to become more aware of what you need to do when you're watching and supporting others. This young lady's going to have a go, passing the scope. Offer your support, your input. I'll stand behind, watch. I'll just pop and see what's happening. I'll be back in a few minutes.
इसको कुछ इस तरह पकड़ लें, इसको ऐसे रिलैक्स रखें, ऐसे आराम से रिलैक्स करें, ऐसे इसको बिल्कुल स्ट्रेट रखें। Not read out.
No, it's not good. But our body. What happened? Happened to this center? Yes, that is resistance. It's not going forward. Then just go clockwise, try to come back. Clockwise or first try the clockwise one.
Just try the resistance version ये उस साइड पे नहीं जाना जिस साइड पे easy है उस साइड पे
Keep the lumen in the center. You're not supposed to keep your finger always at the air.
Yeah,
If it
because
gets too much in the paper,
it
you will
will
have difficulty
it will
introducing
be
the scope in. Okay, so it has to be inflated enough for the scope to go in, but not hyper inflated. Next to after and hands on the lazy thing. You know the third one?
Yeah.
Why should they be calling you? I'm going for it, but it's still hard. Still doing it. Suck the air out. Suck it out. Yes, that's better. See, when you're going in, you have to be very sure this has to be straight. If you've got a grip over there, so the force will not be transmitted straight at the tip. Alright? So try to just follow the basic things. And movements should be very subtle, very slowly. Yes. Gradually and slowly. That's a good way. Whenever you're doing it, just be very sure of your movements and positions. Okay? Position of the scope. I feel resistance again. Concentrate on the colonoscopy for you. See, when you're coming out, you're not coming out with a top. You're coming out straight out. That's not going to stop your top. अगर आप ग्रुप निकाल रहे हैं तो एंटी क्लॉकवाइज ही आना पड़ेगा। इसमें आपको 20 रेजिस्टेंस मिलेगा, ठीक है? So, for example, when you're going in and you feel that your scope is not advancing despite the fact that you're pushing in the scope from here, that means either you've got a loop, that the reason it's not going. And in order for you to reverse that loop, first you try the anti-clockwise stop and gradually try to pull back and see whether you're getting resistance or not. Okay? If you're getting resistance, then that's not the right, maneuver for you to do. Then do a clockwise fall and come out. Okay? Till you start getting a decrease in the resistance and then gradually again withdraw. And when while you're doing all that, try not to inflate, hyperinflate the whole time. feel there's more resistance over here, then you can apply a little bit of this. ठीक है? नहीं, इसमें भी होएगा. Okay. Is there in the dummy as well?
डमी के लिए एक पैकेट जो है ना ये होल डेज के लिए होता है ज़ालिपिन जेल की तरह
वैसे की हो जाता है रेजिन.
अब
What do you want to look at?
He's saying that
She's
you are
almost there.
going too much.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Let her reach the seat. So again, just look at the position of your foot. Okay? These are all the basic things that you need to learn, and the rest will come with you know, normative range. Okay. So in Poland, we're supposed to look for that hierarchy when you're coming out. Alright? So it should be, you know, the time that it should be go in, should be twice the time coming out. For the not in a second. At least twice. That's the one. That's the number of that. It's a double, it's a double. And then another important thing is that when you're coming out, you're not supposed to oversuck the air out. Because you are supposed to look at all the walls. So it should not be, colon should not be hyperinflated, at the same time it should not be having no air at all. So now what you're doing is that you're oversucking. Because you see you're not able to see this portion and this portion. Oh, came out. Who's next? Yeah, I can see that he can, but we cannot hear you. Yeah. Okay, now.
All this noise is all courtesy of Wazim. So, you can't get too close to me because our two bellies are touching.
Paul, can you hear me?
I can.
Oh, I can. We cannot hear you.
Excellent. That's not me. I've stood still. That's Wazim. So, pause. Why are we doing the test?
Leading to rectum.
Like a trick, isn't it? You tell him. You got the history from the patient. Any other history you need about leading to rectum? Yeah. So why are we doing it again? because of your presence? Okay. So why did you think you saw that little bit of heme as you went in? Upper GI?
Upper part of the bowel spine.
That bright red clot that was in the rectum as you was caused by an upper GI. Come back. Little that bit that was caused by upper GI. Yeah. Okay. So, did you notice anything there? What I was showing you? One of us noticed there was a little bit of heme, the other one didn't. Okay, so always keep your eye on the screen, my friend. Always keep your eye on the screen. So, what talk are you doing now? How far? See how far back you are from the scope. Just hold it around here a little bit more. That's brilliant. Yeah, it is. Did not give? 1-on-1? 1-on-1? Is there anything else you should have done before we started, my friend? We always were on the course with the trainees. We always don't discourage the use of sedation. Very many, or on the course, it's important that we make the patient as comfortable as possible. So we'll give 1-1. So. Sajda, can you still hear us? Hello? Sajda? Can you still hear us? You can see going. No, you hold the scope. You hold the scope. Big wheel back slowly. That's. Now bring that scope up. Yeah? Oh, Sajda, can you hear us? At this point, can you bring it up? Bring it up. Nice and slow, bring it up. That's it. Great. Neutralise your wheels, and then you'll see it going off to the right. Well done. You need a little bit more lubricant on that scope, because if you were thinking, as I say to people, if you were thinking it was your bottom, how much lubricant would you want? Hello? Can you hear me in the room?
Yes, Paul, we can. Oh, sorry. Did I scare you?
No, it just sounds very spatial and, angelic. That's what it sounded like.
Okay, that was being amplified, I guess. Is it better now?
It's just a little bit of feedback, that's it. Okay. Slow your waggly, 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 wiggly. There you go. See? Just bringing that back into line brings it into view. See? So, a lot of the time, you cause the problem yourself. Turn, that's it. Brilliant. Well done. Advance the scope nice and steady. Well done. Nice and steady. That's it. What can you do to improve your view? What can you do to improve your view? A little bit of air. Excellent. Now where do you think the lumen's going? You tell me what you should do. What? Where do you think the lumen is? Is it up or is it down? What makes you think it's up? Okay. So where's the lumen now? That's it. Good. Excellent. Slow movement of the wheels. Not fast movement. Slow movement of the wheels. Slow movement of the wheels. Good. Whoa, feedback. Feedback, feedback. No, you're doing brilliant. You're doing brilliant. What do you think of the bowel prep so far?
Bowel prep, it's so poor.
Stop where you are at the moment. So when we put the scope back on the bed, and then the view become a little bit more tolerable, a bit more stable. Bring it round, bring it round. Now, big wheel back slowly. Big wheel, just big wheel, don't need to bring the scope up. Just draw that big wheel back slowly. That's it. That's the right direction. Excellent. A little bit further, a little bit further. How's that? Okay, stop. So what happened then? Anything you noticed?
Yeah, it's not
Stop.
progressing.
Anything else you notice?
It's not progressing properly.
What's he doing? Look.
He's disturb them.
Ask him.
That's only one. Both are.
What's he say?
It says that there is a lot of pain
Okay. How did I notice that and you didn't?
because I didn't look at it.
No, he moved his feet. That's right underneath your nose. And then he went like so. So, remember what we did with the torque? Keep that on. Keep that on. Take it off. Clockwise torque. Anti-clockwise. Clockwise. See? Slow. Not any of that fast wiggly waggly stuff. Big wheel back. That's good. Now keep that torque on and follow it again. Nice and steady. So if this again causes him discomfort, what could we consider to do? So try and pass it again. We know where we want to go, which is 12 o'clock. Make sure we don't blow any more air. So advance the scope nice and steady. So steer the scope to 12 o'clock with the big wheel. Okay? That's not you that's caused that. That's good. What can bring that towards you a little bit? Try it. Bit more. Often when it doesn't come down straight away, it's because you've used too much air to start with. So don't continue to suck, pause, because that mucosa looks a little bit friable. Okay? Excellent. Just advance nice and slow. Just pause where you are at the moment. Just checking your scope. Scope again's a little bit dry. And it's amazing how much gel I use compared to some. Okay, away you go. Nice and steady, nice and steady, nice and steady. Keep this down. That's it. Good man. Nice and steady. So where do you think the lumen is?
On the right side.
Is it right side? Is it 3 o'clock or is it 5 o'clock? Or is it 12 o'clock?
It's 3 o'clock. That is the darker side.
See where the folds are actually pointing? So it's more between 2 and 3. Excellent. Good man. Nice steady approach. Good. What would improve this? What have we been doing with the male in the mannequin?
With the
What have we been doing with the mannequin when we said it was a male?
to change the position
Okay. Why do you think that?
because it's not progressing and we are in the ascending formation.
Okay. So what do you think are your options at this time? If you continue the way you are, what other options have you got?
Just to change the position of the baby.
Okay.
सीधे हो जाइए
कमर पे सीधा ले जाए सीधा ले जाए सीधा लेके पाँव को ऐसे ही रखें सीधा ले जाए ठीक है
Now what do we get you to do on the mannequin with the scope?
yeah, a little bit withdraw.
Yeah, that's brilliant. But we've got to keep that tip central to the lumen, haven't we? Sorry.
Ideally, if I had one monitor, it would be right there.
So what torque are you trying to... Yeah. So start with your thumb at 6 and introduce the torque. Start with your thumb at 6 and introduce the torque. Okay. Let me just show you one thing. Just stand there, just for a second. Just stand here for a second. Let go. Just stand there for a sec. It's okay, you can let go of the scope. Right. If we look at the scope, we can see there's a lot of tension in the scope. See there, so there's a little bit of a loop. Your little wheel, you're fine. What we need to do is
that's
as we
better.
come back with the scope, can you see? I'm actually doing a little bit of anti-clockwise. See the anti-clockwise? The scope is staying stationary.
Yeah, that's better.
So now as we come back with the scope, now the clockwise is coming in, the scope wants to go forward. Again, we're letting the scope sit there. A lot of air here, so we just keep the scope central and we suck down. The reason for the suck down is that we just want to keep the bowel in a nice relaxed position. Now the bowel's in a nice relaxed position, we allow the scope to steer itself around the bend. Okay, and then back. The prep is not that great, and that's what's tempting you to put too much air in. Okay, so as it goes round, which it has done, now we draw back the scope, and then we have another little look at where the lumen is. See it? And then let the scope relax now. So we can let the scope relax, and then draw back again. All the time, it's looking where the mucosa is wanting to go. Then just let the scope go round, and then back, then forward, and now allow the scope to neutralise once again, and there's the scope, it's round. Alright? But the prep, as I say, isn't grueling.
Yeah, it doesn't help with this kind of a prep, especially when you're
This is a
early
chap
days
who's
of your
had PR
colonoscopy.
bleeding, my
Of
friend.
course, sir.
And we will get better opportunities. Okay?
The one we did was very good, actually.
All I'm going to do is just clear this a little bit. When I'm clearing bad prep like this, what I tend to do is blow a little bit and suck intermittent. Blow and suck intermittent. Blow and suck intermittent.
Paul, why do you do that?
It keeps stops the scope
Channel.
impinging
Channel.
on the wall.
Yeah,
But it's frowned upon by a lot of people, but I tend to do it, and it works
Okay.
for me.
sometimes I put both air and suction at the
Yeah,
same time.
That's basically what we're doing.
that keeps the mucosa away from you and stops you pinching the bowel.
Simultaneously.
See,
Say
The
again, my
important
friend.
thing
I
is
said simultaneously. You can do that.
Simultaneously. If you watch what he's saying now, that's what that is. I'm blowing continuous, and he and I scope very similar. What's he say?
He's feeling pain a lot.
Okay.
In American,
Have you ever been to America?
no.
How come you get such a strong Americanism then? Ah. I find it fascinating. Right, my friend, hold the scope in that position. What I want you to do is pull the big wheel back just a fraction. So draw the big wheel back just a fraction. You've got the scope. Keep that torque on. If you notice, now draw the scope back, keeping that on, keep that lumen in view. Pull the big wheel back and keep the lumen in view. Suck a little bit now. Bit more. Bit more. You'll start to feel better. Now draw the scope back another centimetre. Excellent. Now keep that torque on, so I want to see that thumb stay as it is. And slowly, steer with the wheels, not with the torque. Advance it 4 or 5 centimetres. Steer with the wheels, so avoid the lumen with the wheels, not with the torque. So that may even mean moving the little wheel just a touch. So steer with the wheels. Now suck again. Get that tip up and suck again. So get the tip up. Excellent. Well done. So what are you going to do now? You're very quiet on me already.
I want to withdraw.
Okay, where's the lumen as you withdraw? Before you withdraw, where's the lumen going to end up?
I think it's on the 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. Okay, so what can you do to improve the option that the tip will go forward down there? Yes. 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 As you withdraw. Not advance.
As I withdraw?
Yeah, just withdraw a couple of centimetres. That's good. Now big wheel back again, and now big wheel forward again. And you'll see it want to go off. There you go. Because what happens is, as you go around the bend, you will actually impinge on a fold. So you've got to come back and then go for the turn. So you avoid, remember when we were saying about the tip of the scope, not wanting to go forward? There will come a point when we have to look at the back prep and decide, are we doing the best for the patient, or are we just doing what we're doing because we want to learn and have a learning opportunity? Sometimes this is a test that can cause harm to a patient. So this patient could easily return again tomorrow with better prep, and we could, you could then repeat it with me. There comes a point when we have to think about that. How have you thought about the prep so far?
So poor.
Poor. Can I just have one little look just to see if we can actually, if it's definitely poor prep? Now, if you look, often when we get the scope, I just let it relax, so the scope sits there. Now we'll bring it round. See?
Yeah.
That's just that. You're at the moment coming across here, and it's not having the effect that you want. Have the scope so it's in your hand. See? So the prep at the moment is looking okay. See what I mean? So you're making it look poor, and why does it look poor? Just a question back into the room. Why do you think the prep was looking poor when we're actually able to show that the prep is adequate for the test?
Because the fluid were in one part of the...
No. You're right about the fluid, and you was tending to go with the tip.
Yeah.
What it is that if the bowel has got, if you've got 50 mils of water
Yeah.
in that area,
Yeah.
it occupies a large
Yeah.
amount of the space. If you've got 50 mils of water in that area, it doesn't cover as
Yeah.
much. And what we've got to do sometimes is find where the
You
lumen
have
is.
to
So you
put
have
more
to.
here.
Is it the bad prep, or is it that I've not done something? Okay. So what are we going to do before we advance? If we get the nose right up in the air, now think that you're some kind of toffee-nosed, posh, rich person. Do you know where the word posh comes from? Do you know where the word posh comes from? The word posh? You're posh. We say in English, posh. Do you know what it means in English? Yeah, P-O-S-H.
POSH means highly developed.
Highly developed? Oh,
Highly developed.
means
more
in
rich,
English.
more rich.
Yeah, rich.
More rich.
You know, why does it mean rich? Posh. It's not just here to learn colonoscopy. Posh means in the days of the English who used to come over to India and Pakistan, and what they would do, the rich people could afford the cabins on the port side out and the cabins on the starboard home, because that's where the sun used to spend most of the day on the other side. So they had the cooler cabins. So if you were posh, you were rich, you could afford the cabins on the cooler side of the boat. So that's what the word posh comes from. Okay. Why have we had a break? Why do you think I got you to pause? We've had a break. It was deliberate.
Yeah.
Why do you think? It allows the bowel time to settle down. Often when I'm scoping, I'll turn to the people in the room and I'll talk about something stupid like the word posh. Okay, can continue now. So draw the scope back a centimetre. Bit more, bit more. Suck, suck, bit more, bit more, bit more. Stop, stop. Draw the centimetre more back. Now go forward. Avoid that lip. Excellent. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. It'll go. Just go nice and steady. You're probably pushing his cloth up his bottom. You're probably pushing his trousers up his bottom, because you're burying the scope into the bed. If it's also difficult, then you need to put some more gel on. But you're actually making good advancement. Excellent, my friend. Excellent. Is that me? Oh. Yes. Excellent. So tip up and keep that there. That's it. Suck. Suck. Good. Now turn it back. That's it. Good. Good. Jolly day, this prep is awful. Right, so what are we going to do, my friend?
Keep more time, give him more time for preparation.
Well, what about just throwing a bit of water in there and just seeing if that does something?
Okay.
Yeah? Just see?
Yeah, yeah.
Keep your finger on the blow. Keep your finger on the blow. Pause. Pause. Suck now. Keep your finger on the blow. That's fine. So if you draw the big wheel back now nice and slowly, so draw that back nice and slow. Look to the right. That's it. And push the big wheel forward just a little fraction. Now you've got too much. Excellent. So keep going. Excellent. So advance the scope just a little bit more. Excellent. Bit more air. Bit more air. A little bit more air. Keep going. A little bit more. And suck again. Clear that liquid. Go on, clear that liquid. Keep the blow on and suck. Not so much. Pause. On. Pause. On. Pause. On. Pause. On. See it? How does that feel? So, how close are we to the end, my friend, do you reckon? So we've got that ladder effect. Think of the folds as ladders. Excellent. Go on. Go on. Go on. So what are you going to do to bring that closer? What are you going to do to bring that closer? Yeah, how are you going to bring that closer? Yeah, so big wheel back and suck. That's good. Big wheel forward. Go on, big wheel forward. Big wheel further forward. That's it. Draw the scope. Excellent. You know what to do. You know what to do. Okay? So we've got these little red areas throughout. So where do you think we are close to? Oh, very close. So clear that up if you can. Just keep your finger on the blow. You touch, press. No, that's pressing water in. Touch, as in blowing, suck. See? Now what's that? What is that little thing in front of you?
Which little thing?
Nothing. Nothing in front of you. Clean. Go on. Clean.
Clean.
Press your pedal. Okay. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Now draw the scope back. Okay, stop cleaning. Now what is that little thing in front of you?
That is appendix?
Yeah. See? Happy?
Yeah.
Okay, so come back nice and slowly.
Appendix?
Yeah! Are you upset? What's up with you? So, come back. So what about the... do you know about the bow and arrow effect from the appendix?
Bow and arc effect, yeah.
Yeah. So what does that tell you?
That tells me that the direction of the ilium, the ilium opening is on that side.
9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay, come back then. So you're happy now, my friend?
Yeah.
There you go. So turn into it. So anti-clockwise, big wheel back. Now just big wheel back now.
Okay.
There we go. Turn into it. There you go. Just in. A little bit of air. You've got to blow it. Now blowing now will push it away and it'll push you out. Okay. Let me just have one little go to go in and then I'll show you how to do it. But you've got all the way around. Okay. So you've got there. See what we can do? We can rotate the scope.
Okay.
Big wheel back, nice and slow. So you're there. So we can see what it wants. So it sucks it on. So we're there. See, I just touch the blow. And a lot of the time, when you get to this point, it is here, and it is here. And as you come back, I tend to blow the cecum away with water, and then come into it. There you go. And it's in.
This is it? Yeah.
Do you doubt?
He just made a good talk.
Right, my friend. So what are we going to do? It's PR bleeding he's had, so we've got to come back and have a good look. Okay? So how do we make sure we have a good look? Do we just pull it out?
Suck it, clean it, and then...
Okay. So relax the scope. Get the scope so it's relaxed. Okay. Now clean that. Suck it out. Keep blowing, but sucking at the same time. That's better. That's better. Much better. You happy?
Yeah.
You got a smile on your face. Is that because you got round and is there something you did different to what you would normally
Yeah,
do?
of course it's different. Totally different.
I'm afraid you've started having this effect on a lot of males, Paul.
Ah, he likes me. He's American. I don't trust these Americans, you know. They'll do anything for a Hershey bar. I'm practicing my intersection talk. Clean that area there because you've rogered it with the suction. Do you know what rogering it means?
Roger and...
Yeah. Yeah. I'll get Saad to explain what rogering means. So wash that area now, my friend.
Yeah.
Paul, we've lost connection with you. I can't hear you.
Now, Saad, what I sometimes do, I tend to put, you know, with prep like this, a phosphate enema down in with 500 mils of water, and I spray that into the colon and see what that often does, clears this area very nicely.
Well, I agree with you. I don't do it very often, but it works.
How much water do you want to put in?
Depends on what you really are looking for.
Yeah, this is a chap with fresh PR bleeding, and you know, I don't know why we've got this dark stool. His bowel seems a little bit delicate in places, so
Now, I think if I'm really looking for something in the cecum or
Yeah.
in the right colon and the prep is not too good, then yes, you do whatever you can to clarify it. But if the pathology is more on the left side and we've looked at anything gross here, I mean, I think we're not missing anything big.
I agree.
But a small vascular lesion or a very tiny polyp,
Okay.
then that's a different thing.
What we can see is a linear stepping, like someone's throwing a stone in water. Can you see this? And that suction, that's actually caused by the scope as it come back earlier, and you can see that. You can see just a few of the little capillaries that are a little bit more prominent up there. Now pause. I want you to do me a favour now, my friend. Just shoot some water down. Shoot water down. No, from the foot pedal. Yeah. No more water. Keep going. Keep going. We've run out of water. So often it's best to look at these areas when you can see them like this, just to see underwater how the capillaries are tracking. Even though I'm quite certain it's secondary to the scope, when we see these areas and I'm in doubt, I like to squirt water and view them underwater, and it shows you the tracking of the blood vessels. Also, if you've got some oozing areas, once you've squirted them with water, you can definitely see which way, direction the blood is coming from if you actually put the water. Just watch the water. The water tells you an awful lot. Okay? We can come back, my friend. It's definitely the scope because of the linear format that you've caused. Excellent. Keep it central. Keep it central. Keep it central. Slowly do it. Keep it central. Great stuff. Don't suck down. The patient's comfortable, but don't put any more air in. So there's a fine balance. Don't suck down. Don't put any more air in. Excellent. Well done. Slow the movements down. Slow the movement. That's excellent. So you know the dark side is from the right. So you can, that's it, brilliant. You can now know it's coming from 5 o'clock. Excellent. So you can see how you can actually adjust your posture to steer to where you want the tip to. Now you know it's coming again from the right. You can see it now below. So all these movements that we get you to talk about and think about help you steer the scope. In the UK, what we do is that we pride ourselves on our withdrawal times. Withdrawal times, the slower you are on withdrawal, it's directly proportional to the amount of pathology we find. Okay? Excellent. If it's too uncomfortable, I'd like watch the screen. There you go. How does that feel now? Because we've not got you walking across the room now. It's not that I've been, you know. Slow this down. Slow this. Hold the hand here. And just there. You see.
Paul?
Yes, sir.
These are very dark brown stools, I assume, because we almost they appear black here.
They are quite dark. And,
but they're not black.
They're not black as such, but I would be honest with you, I'd feel more comfortable if we did a gastroscopy on this man.
Okay, but looking at it from here, if you just put some water, squirt some water into this stool there, I'm sure you'll see more. I don't know, I feel that this is just dark brown.
We've run out of water.
There it is. You see that? Yeah. That's not black on the right at 5 o'clock.
No.
See, that's not black.
So we've got these small hemorrhagic areas. You can see one at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock.
There.
Yeah.
It looks like a small. Can you just wash that?
So we've got more water. Brilliant.
Yeah, it's an AVM.
Now you can see the difference in that to what you saw in the cecum.
Yeah. I think that was very good actually. But how easily could that have been missed if one was fast and quick and...
Very easy.
Very easy.
Very easy. The pathology, don't rush. Don't get too close to it because of, this is where we talk about Rodri. We need water, my friend, so we can visualize it under the water.
Pani dalo usme, please.
Yes, sir.
So just spray the water. That's good. Get close to it. That's better. Now get close to it. Get close to it. Get close to it.
No, it's actually in the other.
Get close to it.
There.
That's okay. Now just visualize it now. And that's quietened that down quite a lot. So it could just be a little bit of crashing, but I don't think so. I think we've just got a small hemorrhagic area there, my friend. I don't think it's telangiectasia.
Yeah, I don't think. Now that you've washed it, it didn't look like that.
So keep coming back, my friend. See how now it's gone? So happier? Just a little bit of redness. I think it was a crash and burn. That's what the Americans say, isn't it? Slow your movements down. You've gone back to being a barbarian. That's great. Excellent, my friend. Slow your movements. No. This. This.
I think this is difficult, Paul. This holding of the scope, because these people have been holding them in a different way. It's making them understand that it has to be really sometimes far away from you to get the full advantage of talking. And see, every time.
See how that opened it up? You just turned your posture. Now turn back in. Turn back in. See? So you don't have to really turn the scope. I've got a man with a big smile on his face here, Saad. Suck and blow. Again, that's where possibly, you know, I think some of these effects is where we've had bad bowel prep as we've gone round and we've not seen and we've sucked. So keep your finger on that blow. I can't see the blow because I will see bubbles in front of me if I saw the blow. That's it. Excellent. Now come back, my friend, with the scope. Excellent. Keep coming. Keep coming. Doing brilliant. Suck and blow. Suck and blow. That's it. Doing brilliant. Slow it down. Slow it down. Excellent. How's that? Hand slightly closer now. Excellent. No, never shake your head. Okay, never shake your head. There, see? Never ever shake your head. Anything in colonoscopy, if it takes 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, and then 1 to the left to get in through that door, you just do 1 step from the left and 3 step back. Whatever you did to get there, just remember what you did and reverse it. So never shake your head. The patient will be looking at you. He's looking at you. Yeah. Okay? Slow your movements down. Slow your movements down. Excellent. No, don't have to get your shoulder up. You just have to change your posture. Big wheel back. Big wheel back. Remember what we said, it will always orientate to the top.
Paul, there's a question.
Yes, sir.
Is this patient being done under GA or propofol?
He's had 1-on-1, my friend.
He's 1-on-1?
1-on-1.
1 midazolam, 1 Kins.
Yeah. And he's very,
Much
my friend here
cooperation.
seems very happy with himself.
This is about not having a loop. Your scope has always been straight.
Yes.
You can put the scope all the way to terminal ileum without your patient actually whinging. Where is Farooq?
We had 65 centimetres
Farooq,
in the
you
terminal
just
ileum.
He just did 1, and we did 1-1.
Yeah.
And
I still think though that on the course that initially, you know, patients who, I don't discourage sedation even though, you know, we've talked about no sedation cases. But I think minimal sedation for our trainees when they're learning new techniques and different ways of doing things, because we spend a bit longer, just enough to make the patient feel a little bit of comfort and a little bit of air, my friend.
I totally agree with you, Paul. I think we need to have some sedation, but the point that is a take-home message is that you can do these procedures with minimal sedation.
Absolutely. I think what you're saying is...
Even in a course where you're training.
Even on a course, that's the most important thing.
The most interesting thing is that last time this patient has got the same procedure done under GA. So this time he told me that they had done it under GA. So this time we are just doing that.
I'll tell you my indications for doing it and doing colonoscopy under propofol, and quite often it's ladies who tend to be VVVIPs.
Like it slides, it's slided.
No, it slid.
Suddenly.
It never slided, it slid.
Okay.
Yeah, that's this Americanisms. We've got to stop this Americanism stuff, you know. Right. So when we come back, all we do there, see the folds, and we just introduce the scope slowly. Now this is where, remember where you were banging into the mucosa an awful lot, and then we're talking about the prep, and then you were sucking the tissue, and this is exactly where we are now. Okay? It's for you. I'm giving you the scope.
Okay.
It's slightly different to where you come from, because here we try to give you back the scope as much as possible. Excellent. So yes, we will demonstrate things, but then we will give you back the scope. Slided. Hold this hand further out here. Hold it, right, and then right out there. There you go. So now your big wheel comes back, and you just keep the torque on. There, see? So that supports that, and that supports this. Excellent. Now slowly bring this hand up as you draw back. As you draw back, keep drawing back the scope. Brilliant. Don't have to take it all the way up. Don't have to take it all the way up. Big wheel forward. Now that area just there. Now we're just coming into the rectum. I'm not too certain, my friend. So, can we have you back onto your left? So, just because of where the scope is now, all we're going to do now is put the scope, we're in the rectum. Okay? Okay, my friend, now have another little look. Have another little look at that area. It's just above you now. And it does look a little bit like scope. That's fine. Okay? Excellent. Well done. Hand is drifted forward. Let the hand come here. That's it. Brilliant. Bring the scope up so you're comfortable. Okay. Now hold the scope here. Draw it back so you're here. Right, so you're back at this. Pull the big wheel all the way back. Pull it back, pull it back, pull it back. Now, pull the little wheel all the way back. Go on. Now, turn the scope anti-clockwise and advance a centimetre, a little bit of air. Go on. Anti-clockwise. And now just let it... Let me just have one go for you, my friend. It's often the hardest part to learn this, right? So we take that off, take it off. So we come, you're fine. So what we do is we look for the major part where it all opens up the rectum, and I'll pull the scope back. I let the scope come forward. As it comes forward, I then go in anti-clockwise, and then let the scope just sit there. Do you know on the last course I broke a wheel on a scope and I got killed for it. Hung, drawn and quartered. Doesn't want a J, my friend. Not safely anyway. Try once more. There. So you take that, undo the wheels and take out the scope, my friend.
So, Paul, did we find anything for the...
All I can see, my friend, is a little bit of a swollen anal canal. It was very difficult to actually retrovert the scope, and it's not a problem with the scope. So we're just taking out the scope now, and we'll look at the anal canal just to see if he's not got any swelling there that might cause it. He's got a few hemorrhagic areas as we went round, but it's not consistent with telangiectasia. I think he may be straining an awful lot when he goes to the toilet, and that might be causing the fresh rectal bleeding he's been getting.
Paul, how often do you see solitary rectal ulcer syndromes in your practice?
In the UK, we don't see it a great deal. The thing about solitary rectal ulcer in the UK, a lot of the time we see it with a lot of people from our mentally challenged areas a lot. That's us that's caused that by the retroverting the scope. And a lot of people who misuse their bodies. That's an issue. What we find also is a lot of strainers get it, so incomplete emptiers also suffer from it. people prone to constipation, an awful lot. But it is a very small group, solitary rectal ulcer, in the UK. See,
That's probably.
that's probably what's
Yeah,
causing.
yeah.
So we have got some chunky hemorrhoids.
Yeah. Okay.
Well done, my friend. You're really good.
The other one,